Sarah Mitchell adjusted her blonde hair nervously, running her fingers through the soft waves that caught the warm cafe light. At 32, she had learned that life rarely went according to plan. The small pearl earrings her mother had given her years ago felt heavier tonight. A reminder of simpler times. She glanced down at her 5-year-old son, Tommy, who sat beside her at the round wooden table, his small fingers wrapped around a box of colored pencils. His brown hair was neatly combed, though she knew it wouldn't stay that way for long. The denim overalls she'd chosen for him were his favorites, the ones that made him feel grown up. "I'm so sorry," Sarah began, her voice barely above a whisper. The elegant cafe around them buzzed with quiet conversation, the soft glow of pendant lights creating an atmosphere she'd once dreamed of enjoying. "My babysitter canceled at the last minute, and I didn't want to cancel on you again." Across from them sat James Harrison, a man whose presence commanded attention even in casual conversation. His dark hair was perfectly styled, and his navy suit spoke of boardroom meetings and important decisions. At 45, he had built his company from the ground up. But tonight, something about the woman's vulnerability touched something deeper. James had expected an evening of polite conversation, perhaps the beginning of something conventional. Instead, he found himself looking at a mother's quiet strength, and a little boy who was trying so hard to be invisible. "Please don't apologize," James said gently, his voice carrying a warmth that surprised even him. "What's your name, young man?" Tommy looked up shyly, his pencil paused over the paper. "Tommy," he whispered, then quickly returned to his drawing. Sarah felt her cheeks flush. "He's usually more talkative. This has been a difficult year for us." She paused, gathering courage. "His father left when things got complicated. Since then, it's just been the two of us." James nodded slowly, understanding more than she realized. His own childhood had been shaped by a single mother's sacrifices. Long nights when she worked multiple jobs to keep them afloat. He remembered the weight of being the reason plans got canceled. "The guilt a child carries without understanding why." "Tommy," James said, leaning forward with genuine interest. "What are you drawing there?" The little boy's eyes lit up for the first time that evening. "It's our house," he said proudly, holding up the paper. "And that's Mommy in the garden. She grows tomatoes." The drawing was simple. A house with a triangle roof, flowers in crayon colors, and a stick figure with yellow hair. But something in the boy's pride made James smile authentically. "That's beautiful work," James said. "May I see it more closely?" Tommy nodded eagerly, pushing the drawing across the table. As James examined it with the seriousness of an art critic, Sarah felt something shift. This wasn't pity. This wasn't tolerance. This was genuine interest. "You know," James said thoughtfully, "I have an office downtown with white walls that could use some artwork. Would you consider letting me display this? I'd pay you a commission, of course." Tommy's mouth opened in amazement. "Really?" "Really. Artists deserve to be compensated for their work." Sarah felt tears prick her eyes. In a world where she'd grown used to apologizing for her circumstances, here was a man treating her son with dignity, not as an inconvenience, but as a person worthy of respect. "James, you don't have to," she began. "I want to," he said simply. "Tommy, would you like to draw another one while your mom and I talk? Something for my conference room, perhaps?" As Tommy bent over a fresh piece of paper, James turned his attention back to Sarah. "Tell me about the tomatoes," he said with a gentle smile, and in that moment, Sarah realized that some people don't just tolerate your story. Some people ask to hear more of it. The evening that had started with apologies transformed into something neither of them had expected. Not romance necessarily, but connection. The recognition that kindness isn't about perfect circumstances. It's about seeing the person behind the struggle as they prepared to leave. Tommy carefully folded his drawings and handed them to James with ceremonial importance. "These are for you," he said solemnly. "Because you're nice to my mommy." James knelt down to Tommy's level. "Thank you, Tommy. These will have a place of honor in my office. And perhaps, if your mom agrees, you could visit sometime and see how they look on the wall." Sarah's voice was soft with emotion. "We'd like that very much." Walking to their cars under the gentle cafe lights, Sarah realized she'd stopped apologizing for her life. Sometimes the most beautiful connections happen not despite our circumstances, but because of them. The drawings now hang in James Harrison's corner office. A reminder that the most important business deals aren't always about profit. Sometimes they're about recognizing the art in someone else's story and choosing to be part of it.